Hello, this is Paul from Play Magazine.
And this is John from Games TM.
And John, you have been and done what many people would like to do, and you've played No Man's Sky.
I have. I'm greatly privileged in this respect.
So tell us about it, because I think there's been a lot of people who, myself included, have been impressed by the technology behind it, but I've still been kind of like, yeah, but is there actually a game there that's fun? So what did you do when you played the game?
What did I do? Oh, so much. I flew around in a spaceship. I fought pirates in space. I landed on a space station. I spoke to aliens.
Okay, so there's actually characters in it.
There's actually characters in the game. This was one of the big things we got to see, was there are NPCs in the game you get to interact with. 4 different species of alien, which have their own politics and their own sort of mingling between them. Like some of them like each other, some of them don't. But you have to build relationships with these people. You can't speak the language, though. So that's a big part of the game, is learning the language.
Okay, so how do you...
Right, so you've probably seen like these monoliths in some artwork and screenshots.
Yeah, I think
like
so.
these big things on the planets with scrolling
on
them.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So basically you walk up to those things and you interact with them. And if you sort of interact with them correctly, you'll learn a word in an alien language.
Yeah.
And so when you speak to an alien, that word will no longer be in an alien language, it will now be in English.
Okay, cool.
So you can begin to piece together the sentences of the things people are saying to you and then find the right responses. You'll be given like 3 responses for every conversation.
Okay.
And so that will help you build those relationships and learn new things.
So it seems like they're deliberately building in the possibility for like misunderstandings and stuff as well?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so you could like accidentally upset an entire species.
Because you don't know what...
Because you don't know what they're saying.
But you've got to respond anyway, right?
But you've got to respond.
That's a really cool idea.
Yeah. But then you can trade with them, and that'll help you get new weapons and better upgrades for your ships, or just new ships entirely. And that's kind of the whole point of the game, is just... I think it's one of the big things has been, what is the game? What's the point of the game? What do you really do? And it really is just about exploration, but the overarching aim is to get to the centre of the universe. But the only way to do that is to upgrade yourself to a level where you can reach that point. You need enough fuel, you need a ship that's strong enough and powerful enough. So you need to upgrade, you need to craft, you need to do all these things, and it takes talking to people, finding new things, discovering things, earning credits, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm really pleased there's NPCs in it, because one of my things is it looked a bit kind of barren and empty in some ways, and it didn't look like there was actually that much to do, but yeah, that's good, hearing there's people to interact with, and I guess there's potential there for like you said, they've all got their own politics and stuff, so there's there's loads of stuff you can learn about the law and stuff and how everybody interacts. So it has
the potential to be really deep, and it's all based on the same system. So it's procedurally generated. Everyone you meet is procedurally generated. So they have like set parameters for what each species is supposed to generally look like, but you'll meet them and they'll look completely different. There'll be individual aliens that don't just look like they're all based on the same uniform creation. They'll be wearing different clothes, they'll have different size heads, there'll be longer heads, shorter heads, longer noses, shorter noses, if they have noses at all. So everyone is just a little bit different, and they also sound different. Even the audio is procedural, so it fluctuates. They might have a deeper voice, a higher voice. They can sound angry. You can actually begin to pick up on their emotional state based on how they sound. Same with the animals as well. They all have their own little sound effects and things that are based upon, are they going to attack you? Are they timid? Are they friendly? All this kind of thing.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, can you tell us a bit about like the travel? Because I've been wondering, like, is there? Because obviously you're traveling a long way to get to the centre of the universe. Yes. So I've been wondering, is there some kind of like Star Trek style warp thing? Or
There's warp. There's basically you have your basic thrusters, and when you're pointing at a planet, it actually tells you how long it will take you with the speed you're traveling.
Okay.
So basic acceleration is just right trigger. You just hold it down and it just starts accelerating to top speed. And
engaged in any space combat?
A little bit of space combat, yeah. So one of the things that happens when you're just floating around in space is that pirates will attack you. Particularly if you're in a fairly weak ship and you're carrying some cargo, they'll just come after you. So you end up in a just kind of emergent dogfight. Just a thing will just come after you. Likewise, if you kind of start shooting at something, like there'll be freighters that will kind of see warp in. I think you've seen some of the videos. The freighters kind of warping in, just kind of stopping almost immediately.
Yeah.
If you start shooting at those things, you can gather resources from them. So you could be the pirate.
Yeah.
But if you do that, you'll actually get a wanted level.
Right.
So in the different systems, those alien creatures will have their own police, essentially.
Okay.
And like GTA the more you do it, like the more wanted you are, the worse the situation gets for you. So they'll start sending military after you. The bigger ships will start coming in. And then the capital drop ships will start arriving with their own little mini ships that will fly out and come after you.
Yeah, I guess you can upgrade your weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, are there maybe different like weapon types, or is it just like?
Yeah, the different weapon types and also different firing modes within the weapons. So there's I think a lot of the weapons I was playing with had like a laser cutter for mining, which just makes that a lot easier because mining resources are a really big important part of the game. But then you also have just basic fire modes, and then there's also like things like grenades and things. You can actually deform the planets with explosions.
Right.
So if you want to get, basically if you're like on a super, super cold planet, you need to get to cover after a while because your thermal shield will break down.
Oh, okay.
So you can
it's got little like survival elements as well.
It's like survival is a massive part of No Man's Sky. It's actually, at its core, it's a survival and exploration game.
Yeah.
It has elements of things like Long Dark and Minecraft to it. There's some of that going on in this game. So yeah, you can actually use like a grenade and create a little cave to hide in for a bit so that your thermal shield can recharge. Then you can go back out in the world again. Obviously, it's also clearly based on normal physics, so the cold planets will be the furthest away from the star in that system. The hot planets will be closest to the sun. Again, if you're on a hot planet, your thermal shield will break down if you stay there too long. You need to find shelter, you need to find a way to cool down, or upgrade your suit so you can survive there longer.
If the planets you've visited, what sort of things have you seen? I mean, are they really diverse in terms of?
I think the key thing that we kind of came out of it was that every planet you visit will have something on it. They've not left any of them barren, or the system doesn't allow them to be barren.
Right.
I should say, because they have not that hand. The system isn't handcrafted. It is all procedural, so the system doesn't allow them to be barren. But they will be different depending on how far away they are from a sun. And then will also be different in terms of the makeup of them. So some will be very watery, with very small islands. And that becomes very tricky because you can't just land your ship on a tiny little island. You need to be able to have a proper little drop zone. So there might be something on a really tiny island. You'll have to swim there to reach it. And other things will just be very hilly or sort of like a desert for most of the planet, but there will be something there. There'll be bits and pieces, maybe some vegetation a little bit, maybe particular animals that only exist on desert worlds. And then there'll be these monoliths and industry and factories and little things. There'll be little sort of civilizations will have existed and still do exist on some of these planets.
Okay. So it sounds to me overall that you're quite positive about what you've played.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was great to actually get hands-on time with the game and see that the gameplay is really, really solid. And also that there is so much more in terms of life in this world, in this universe, than we originally thought it might be. Yeah. It isn't just a walking simulator in space. There's so much more to it than that. There is the survival element, there's the trading, there's NPCs. It's a proper space exploration game in every aspect, with a lot of potential for expansion post-launch. There's so much more they can do with it if they want to. But right now it's just really, really exciting about what's there.